Hi Chris, hi Spurs Chat Podcast. It's Clayton Donaldson here, former Beast player, striker. What have I made of Brentford this season? It was a tricky one because since Frank left, I thought, when Frank left, I thought could be stumbling block because Frank was absolutely brilliant for Brentford. I think every year he's improved. And then losing him, I thought they could disrupt things, the progress. But since Andrews has been in, he's been a revelation. Really, had a slight little slow start, but then once he got into the thick of things, the way they're playing football now is just free flowing, attack minded, and punishing teams. And I think Brentford this season under Keith, I think they could maybe sneak into Europe. The way they're going, if they carry on, they've had a really good first half of the season. Be interesting to see if they can carry that form on for next season. What have I made of Spurs this season since Frank's been in? Again, a few raised eyebrows when Frank took the job, left Brentford for Spurs. Yes, it's a bigger club, financially, money better off. But in terms of progression as a manager, I didn't think it would be the right move for him. I think Spurs for the last few years, maybe more, being like a poison chalice when it comes to managers going in there. You've had the Mourinho's and the Contes. You've had so many high class, high profile managers that has gone in and hasn't really hit the ground running or produced anything. Yes, Angie got them a trophy last season. But I think overall, it was a poor season. I think that trophy kind of papered over the cracks a little bit, and I think it showed this season when he eventually got the sack. So to see Frank going in there, I don't think he's had the greatest of starts, to be honest, which is pretty normal, which is how it's been for Spurs for the last year or two. So he's got some work to do, I know that, to try and turn things around. He's a great manager, and no one can doubt that. It's just, can you do what everyone else couldn't do? Like I say, you've had some big names in there, so it'll be interesting to see after the season, see how he gets on. So I'll be interested to see where they finish at the end of the season. But with Andrews, I've been really impressed. Like I say, I didn't think he'd be able to carry on that momentum, but he has, and he's been great. I think they're up to 8th at the moment, and I think they can go even higher. I've watched them play a few times and been very excited to watch Brentford play. Those are teams that a neutral enjoy watching because they play some good stuff. Whereas Frank at Spurs has kind of been the opposite. When Spurs are playing, you tend to drift off after a while. It'd be interesting to see if Frank can turn that around and produce what he produced at Brentford. I think the players for Brentford this season, outstanding players for them, key players have probably been Thiago. I think he's been a revelation since he's come back fit. I know you had that injury when he first signed, but as a striker myself, I'm watching him. He seems like the complete striker. If he was going to build up a striker, you'd have a bit of this and a bit of that, and a little bit of everything. And I think he's got that. It's very rare to see nowadays a complete striker. There's only a few far between in the Premiership. You're probably looking at Haaland as well, with another one that springs to mind. But I've watched Thiago many times and I've been very impressed. And what a find! And I think Brentford always seem to find all these little gems everywhere. It's just a case of they can keep hold of him as well. But it's all luck play. It brings players into play. Can get him behind. He's quick enough as well. So very strong. Aerially can dominate players as well. So yeah, very impressed with him. Henderson, since he's come in, his experience have definitely helped. I think it's been massive. I did wonder how it would be after going away to Saudi, if he'd come back, and then obviously he went to Ajax as well. Formed those leagues are not as strong. Could that affected him? But I think since he's come back in, you can tell that experience he's brought into the team has definitely helped, and some of his performances and assists and breaking up play has been key for them. So I think them two, Sade as well, has been a breath of fresh air. His pace it's just his rawness. He's not the cleanest of players to watch, but his quick thinking and his rawness kind of gets him out of trouble at times, and he's like another one that's kind of impressed me as well. I think he's still young, still finding his feet, but he seems as though he's enjoying his football, and like I say, got a couple of goals. Got a hat-trick at the weekend, I think it was. I can't remember what day it is. It's Christmas, in it, so I'm lost with the days, but it's last game he got a hat-trick, so that'll just boost his confidence even more. So I think those three players really have been those are the three that's kind of impressed me the most. Score prediction for Brentford against Spurs. I'm going for obviously the head-to-head before. I think Thomas Frank took that, but I think where Brentford are playing now, I think at home as well, I believe. I think Brentford might just nick that one. I think Brentford will nick that one. I know the Spurs have had a good win against Crystal Palace, which will give them that kind of confidence going into that game, a little bit of momentum as well. But if I was a betting man, I'd probably say Brentford 2-1. Brentford 2-1, I'd probably say. But again, it's exciting times down at Brentford. Spurs, can they pick up from where they left off the previous game? Who knows? But I think it'll be a good game, especially for the neutrals as well. Cheers. All right. Thank you. Bye.